I've got 3 free transfers at my disposal, and in this video I'm going to reveal what my transfer plans are. I'm also going to reveal the best players in each position for those of you who are wildcarding, in fact for any of you that are making transfers as well. And as always, you're going to get to see the latest fixture difficulty ratings for attack and defence. Building from the back, I have got Henderson, who's not kept any clean sheets yet. He did get 4 points last game week though from 6 saves, and he's got Leicester at home this game week. He's not going anywhere yet. However, I do plan on selling him ahead of game week 7 when he faces Liverpool at home. He's also got Spurs at home in game week 9, that won't be easy either. And I'll probably sell him for Brentford's goalkeeper Flecken. He's got Wolves at home, which is a decent fixture in game week 7. He also has the benefit of facing Ipswich at home in game week 9. And for the next 7 game weeks from game week 7, he's not got a single difficult fixture. Now, if I was on Wildcard, it would be between these two. Obviously, Palace have got the better short-term fixtures. Brentford have got the better long-term fixtures. Personally, I don't like to spend free transfers on my goalkeeper, so I might even keep Henderson in the long run. That's just if I've got a luxury free transfer. And based on that logic, I would go for Flecken because I think he'll get more points in the long run, but you do have to put up with City away and Spurs away in the first 2. I do understand why people are wildcarding this game week, but if you want a 4.5 mil goalkeeper, it's not the optimal game week to do it. Now, if Forest, Brentford and Palace had the same fixtures for the long run, I would actually go for Sells from Forest. They're the second best for expected goals conceded so far this season. Yeah, they've had decent opening fixtures, but to be fair, last season they were 5th for expected goals conceded as well. That is not an easy fixture from an attacking perspective. Unfortunately for them, it is a difficult run-in. They've only got one easy fixture until game week 13 from a defensive perspective. In defence, Trent faces them this game week at Anfield. So far he's got plenty of points this season. He's not actually got any attacking returns from his 1.7 expected goal involvement, but it does mean that he's due, and I've been unlucky so far with that. I am going to keep Trent in my team for the foreseeable future. I have considered selling Gabriel, who's got Spurs away then City away. Now, I don't like spending defensive transfers, especially when in 2 game weeks time they've got Leicester at home, then Southampton at home. I'm going to want him back in. I am planning on benching him next game week when he travels to the Etihad anyway, because I've got Harwood Bellis against Ipswich at home. Whilst I won't be selling him, I don't think you should buy him either. I wouldn't bring him in on the wildcard. But if you're wildcarding in game week 6, I don't see an issue in selling him now and bringing him back in on the wildcard. I'll probably bring Robbo in for the next 2. He's got 2 home fixtures against Forest and Bournemouth. And of course, that's if you already own Trent or you can't afford him. Gvardiol's another player that I wouldn't bring in on the wildcard, and I wouldn't sell either. At least he's a nil City defender. I know that his attacking threat has dropped since last season, which is a bit concerning, but he's not a bad player to own, and they have got Brentford at home this game week. I do fancy them for a clean sheet. If I was on a wildcard, I'd still keep a back 3 for that higher ceiling in attack. I'd keep Trent in my team. I would consider Conter if he's fit to play, and I would consider doubling up on that Liverpool defence with Robertson, but if you can't afford him, I do like Dunk as well. They've got Ipswich at home next. Moving on to midfield, my patience was finally rewarded with Eze. He got a goal last game week, came away with 10 points, and he's got Leicester at home this game week. If I was wildcarding, I would still have him. He's on penalty duties, he's a 90-minute man, and he's at a cheap price. The same can be said about Rodgers as well. I'd keep him on the wildcard. Villa have got the most favourable fixtures from an attacking perspective. I'm just hoping that Rodgers can reward my patience like Eze has. I'm running out of patience with Bruno. No attacking returns from 2.1 expected goal involvement. Now, I know you could say the same about Trent, which was slightly less, but at least his clean sheets are ticking over. With Bruno, I've got nothing from him yet. I'm hoping my patience finally pays off against Southampton away. That's a good opportunity. However, if I was on the wildcard, I would consider him, but I don't think I would keep him. I would probably give that spot to Salah. I do think he's worth bringing in on the wildcard. There's plenty of captaincy opportunities in the next few game weeks. And if I could afford to keep him, I'd probably keep Saka on the wildcard as well. It's funny I should say that because I have considered selling him with Spurs away, then City away. But when you think about it, Spurs away isn't difficult from an attacking perspective. I know that Odegaard looks like he's not going to play, and obviously Rice is suspended as well. That doesn't favour him too much, but of course he's still got penalty duties. He's a good attacking talent, and he could easily get an attacking return in that match. However, City away, I don't fancy him getting anything there at the Etihad. But when it gets to Leicester at home and Southampton at home, I'd want to keep him in the team. I wouldn't want to book in a free transfer in 2 game weeks. I might even bench him next game week depending on who my transfers are. If I do downgrade Haaland and upgrade my 8 for Taka, I will probably bring Rodgers against Wolves at home in over Saka against City away. Due to the departure of Tony, I would also like Mbeumo on the wildcard, which would probably mean a 3-5-2 formation. Now he is a decent price like Eze, 90-minute man, on penalty duties, and all of that is benefited because Tony has left Brentford, so he does take a more of a leading role, and like last season, he's more likely to get more goals and assists. I've got plenty of insurance on the bench in terms of minutes, Winks, Fass and Arwood Bellis, but there's no high ceiling there. Fass and Arwood Bellis, I could easily swap them round, they've got practically the same clean sheet odds. I just hope none of these three players have to step in. In terms of a wildcard, it does depend on your squad structure. I wouldn't really switch up this bench too much, to be honest with you. I've gained a price rise out of Fass. He looks like the best £4 million defender, even though he's 4.1. I do like Greaves from Ipswich. It is Southampton versus Ipswich in game week 5, but I would rather have Harwood Bellis with the home advantage. Winks is still my favourite 4.5 mil midfielder because of the minutes. You know you're going to get roughly 2 points when he comes on. Yeah, it's not a lot, but it's better than nothing. But again, depending on your squad structure, it would be nice to have Rodgers for an extra £0.5 mil more as your 8th attacker. But don't forget, Villa have got nice easy fixtures in the next few game weeks. I'd rather have him in the first 7 attackers, put more money into my first team, increasing the chances of points. And to be honest, I do prefer that squad structure for the long run. Up front, I've got Isak on the back of a 9-pointer. He's got Wolves away this game week, and I am actually considering selling him. He would be part of funding Salah if I was to make 2 or 3 free transfers, and of course he would be downgraded to Pedro. Now we have also got Muniz with a decent fixture against West Ham at home. I'm more likely to downgrade him to Pedro and not spend the other 2 free transfers and then have 3 free transfers next game week and bring Salah in. Spoiler alert, if you've not yet watched the best captain video, it's worth not listening for the next 10 to 20 seconds, but I won't be captaining Salah this game week. I do think Forest at home is a difficult fixture from an attacking perspective, like I mentioned earlier on in the video, due to the underlying stats. So that's why I'm considering just downgrading Muniz to Pedro, who I think is a better option against a promoted side this game week, although Muniz does have a decent fixture. I might even make no free transfers and have 4 free transfers. Now I'm guessing a lot of people are tuning back in who haven't yet watched the best captain video, and I have got Haaland in my team, who is a captain consideration. He's got Brentford at home. If you've not already watched my best captain video, make sure you go and watch it because the defensive stats are very important this game week. And next game week, I am strongly considering selling Haaland and spreading the funds with my free transfers. That's if I spend 1 free transfer this game week anyway, but owning a £15 million player where you don't think you're going to captain him for a few game weeks, I don't think it's worth it. Next game week, I might even have 3 free transfers, maybe even 4, might have none. Let's just see what I conclude on before the deadline. Don't worry, you will see my team before the deadline. Just make sure you're following me on Twitter.